Today we're going to be taking a look at what I think is the best looking GMT from British watch manufacturer Christopher Ward. The Anthropocene is a limited edition variant of their C65 GMT line. The entire lineup is a great looking collection, and for between $1,000 and $1,300, they're some of the great buys in the GMT segment. Let's take a closer look. The C65 GMT Anthropocene has some fantastic dimensions and uses Christopher Ward's light catcher case. I've said many times how much I love this case, and it's still true today. With a 41mm case width and a touch over 47mm lug to lug, it is going to be a crowd pleaser on a variety of wrists. Even with its relatively thin case at 12mm, you can expect it to wear even slimmer because of the case design. A stark white dial with black accents on the markers and hands make for some bold contrast. Add in a pop of color with the GMT hand, and you've got yourself an extremely legible dial that stands out but doesn't command everyone's attention. Christopher Ward balances the dial with their trademark logo at 9 o'clock and a black date wheel at 3 o'clock. It may not be to everyone's taste, but it works well here. As I've said before, the C65 GMT wears extremely well on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. The slim case and gentle turn down in the lugs help it sit low and comfortable on the wrist. Christopher Ward's fantastic quick adjust bracelet allows you to adjust the fit throughout the day if your wrist size changes slightly. It can be tightened while on the wrist, but if you want to loosen it, you'll need to take the watch off. It's a great design and doesn't add any bulk to the clasp. Even with the male end links on the bracelet, I didn't feel it wore large whatsoever. If the bracelet isn't your thing, you won't need tools to change that either, as it has its own quick release system to detach it from the watch. The Christopher Ward twin flag logo at 12 o'clock usually disappears on the dial, especially with black dials. I found that it stood out more prominently on the Anthropocene because the contrast created by shadows being cast on the white dial. The dial itself isn't just a plain matte white dial. It has a subtle eggshell texture that is difficult to notice at times. But when it catches the light just right, you can see the pearlescent finish shine through. It can also have a warmer hue at times, especially when you're not in direct sunlight. It is one of the more dynamic appearances I've seen on white dial watches. Christopher Ward has done a nice job adding depth to the dial. The watch itself will come with no surprises in terms of how the GMT complication functions. A Sellita SW330 is ticking away inside. This movement seems to be the choice for brands outside of those with access to ETA movements. It's a solid movement, and the watches I've reviewed that use it all have been reliable with no issues. When you pop out the crown, the first position will adjust the GMT hand and date depending on which way you turn the crown. While it doesn't have a screw-down crown, something I wouldn't mind seeing in future iterations of the C65 GMT, it does boast 150 meters of water resistance. The C65 GMT comes in a few colorways, and I've had hands-on experience with all except the blue dial. The Anthropocene is my favorite dial variant by far. It doesn't carry over the faux Tina Lume from some of the other versions, or the overused Pepsi bezel theme. I hope Christopher Ward keeps expanding on the C65 GMT line with additional dial colors and some added features like a screw-down crown. The C65 GMT seems to fly under the radar, but I think it's starting to get noticed more, and rightfully so. It's one of the best affordable GMTs available today. Thanks for checking out the video review, and for the full written review, head over to watchclicker.com.